Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the playoffs of the Trackmania Seasonal Country Championship. This is our spring 2022 edition, and I am Boney together with a sleeping, I think it's this way, yeah, Quantum Death Cat. He's not available right now at the moment, had a bit of a rough night, late night, so we'll see him later. But for now, you're just going to have to suffice with little old me. Hopefully that's okay with you guys, because I am looking forward to some exciting Trackmania matches today. We're going to have 4 matches in total today. And also tomorrow, kicking things off in the winner's bracket round 1 because, well, nobody has lost in the playoffs so far. And we'll end today with the winner's bracket final. And we'll see our first team to get into the playoffs. So I'm very excited for that. But before we get there, we need to get through all the matches. And we have quite some matches for you happening as well. 8 in total. We've got Ireland versus France 2. We've got Czech Republic versus Netherlands. We've got England versus Italy. We've got Denmark versus Sweden. Germany versus Portugal, which is the match that we will be spectating here. Switzerland versus Slovakia. Finland versus Germany 2. Germany, the only country to have 2 teams in the playoffs. And finally, Russia versus India. And I see we're already getting things kicked off with the picks and bans. We'll be seeing from Germany and Portugal all the players that have registered on Germany's side: Ratchet, New Prime, Giuliano, Laurentius, and Amaterasu. And on Portugal, we have Yacosto, Ariagon, Maui, Pika, and Pereira. And as we are seeing, picks and bans are coming in already. Germany having banned 11 and Portugal not feeling the full speed today in 19. So a pick from Portugal with 6, which is an interesting one. We're just talking about it. Portugal, their team, their players have been driving amazing times on that track, driving 0.6 consistently. So at the moment on Spring 06, the fastest time is set by Hefes with a 34.148. And apparently these Portuguese players can drive just by 0.2 behind of that. 0.2 behind a world record consistently. I think that's very, very impressive and makes sense for them to go for that pick. Germany, on the other hand, picking 22 and 22, definitely a longer track with a 54-second world record time. We've seen 22. It's one of the maps that has quite a lot of ice. It's not a full ice track, if you will, but there is definitely a lot of it going on there. Other than that, 25 has been banned by Germany and 16 has been banned by Portugal. And here come the random maps. We're going to kick things off on 6 into 22, following that up with 29 and 7. So some ice will be coming in the form of 22 and 7. We'll see if that is in favor of Germany or of Portugal. Portugal specifically hasn't been banning out any of the ice tracks like 18 and 14. So not sure if that necessarily will be good or bad for either team. But for now, we're going to kick things off on Portugal's pick in Spring 06. Let me make sure I write this down because my word, it's so easy to forget these. There we go. Boom. It's so easy to forget which map we're going to. I will tell you what. But yeah, with 2 minutes on the clock for the warm-up before we actually get into the match, we're getting in pretty dang quick. Just a quick shout out to the TM Skins page. If you haven't gotten yourself a nice spring skin already, there's only 6 days remaining to pick yourself up the spring bundle. And if you yourself are a skin creator and you want to join in the summer contest, then you also have 6 days left to submit your skin. Just, FYI, keep that in mind. It's definitely good to know. Other than that, just looking at the rankings real quick for 06, where we're kicking things off. Yacosto, at the moment, I believe, has a number 13. That's right, he's 13th. So I wouldn't be surprised if Yacosto, would be playing along with his teammate, I believe, Pika or Maui. Maui on 20th. So definitely a Yacosto-Maui duo going to be fielding for Portugal. I'm very curious to see what that'll be on the German side, as we do have Vionics in number 17, but Vionics is not playing in this German team. So I'm very curious to see if if any of the other German players are happy with this pick. Just taking a quick look, Hobbits, Manuel, right? These are all German players that are high in the rankings. And it looks like Amaterasu also driving a 0.3. I think we're going to see some nice quick times. on this one. I'm Taras with a point tree, and while I don't as quickly see Giuliano as well, point tree, I'm seeing a lot of point trees. That's what it's going to come down to. This is going to be a nice close match. We're going to see hundreds of a seconds between these players. It is a quick track. 34 seconds is all it will take for these rounds to come and go. So this will definitely be one of the maps where you will not blink, or you will definitely miss it. So we just got a few seconds remaining. So hold on to your horses. Make sure you got your drinks ready. I'm going to take a quick sip of water. And I'm good to go. It looks like the players are as well. Playoffs kick off right here, right now, with Portugal versus Germany. 0-0 on the board, and we're starting off in Portugal's pick on Spring 06. And we're taking an eye on from Ratchet, and we do see at the moment that something is happening with Maui at the moment. I think we're gonna have a quick restart. Just some technical issues at the start looking on Maui's side, so we'll just we'll get that sorted out. So a bit of a false start. Don't worry too much about it. We'll get it in. Oh, but Giuliano with it. No. I'm messing around. It's a bit of a late join. Maui, I mean, I was already mentioning Maui just now, 20th on the leaderboard for Spring 06. So, yeah, I can imagine Portugal not being too happy if he was being unable to join in right away. So we're just gonna have another 2 minutes to relax and chill. In the meantime, make sure to shout out the country that you are supporting for. We've got 15 countries remaining in the playoffs. We have to say goodbye to quite a few. I myself obviously will be cheering for the Netherlands. Hoping they do a fantastic job against Czechia. But yeah, we'll see what happens. It is going to be double elimination for the entire tournament, and with that, best of fives as well. So you don't need to worry about winners becomes best of 7, best of 9. It's not the case. It's not going to happen. In fact, during the grand finals as well, if the player from the lower bracket, the team from the lower bracket comes in and defeats whoever got into the grand finals from winners bracket, there will be a bracket reset, which means we're going to play another best of 5 to determine who is the champion of tscc Spring 2022. I'd be very curious to see if we get into that situation, because there's already some nice matches on the board right here and some brackets that look extremely close to call. I'm very curious what the top 4 might be. I wouldn't be surprised if both Germany and Portugal actually were able to make it into top 4, and to have them play against each other in this first round will probably make for a quite interesting lower bracket with that as well, because some teams are going to have to win and some teams are going to have to lose, and some teams you might not expect to lose. But that doesn't mean they're fully out just yet, and they'll probably fight their way through the lower bracket, taking names left, right, and center. We'll see which team it will be in the end, but I think right here, whichever team loses, they will make a living hell for anyone they they encounter in the lower bracket. All right, here we are. We are actually live now, so no more fake outs, no more false starts. The signal has been given, and we are live. We'll have Portugal in blue, and we'll have Germany in red. So at the moment, we do see Maui in the lead with Giuliano and Amaterasu in second and third place, hanging on to those podium positions. And this is a quick map. 34 seconds is all it'll take. We got the dancing dog himself coming in. I'm not quite sure if that is Maui or not, because Maui is at the front. With Yokoso in 5th place. Ooh, 2-tree? Would have been nice for Germany if they were able to pick up the 5, but Yokosta holding on tied to that number 5 spot, bringing in 2 points. Very needed for Portugal, and they open things off with a round win on their end, on their own map at that as well. So that's a great start, but this goes to show how close this track will be. I wouldn't be surprised if this is what is going to happen in terms of crashes. Don't expect too much, though. Yokosta barely clips the wall. I think that's the extent that we can expect. Dancing Dog, same deal, clipping into the wall there as well. He still moves forward, but he's going to have to somehow get some amazing lines and hope that the Germans are not able to drive the lines that they are normally used to. But at the moment, Maui surrounded by the German Armada, going out to the to the bar, picking up a beer, and there we go. 1, 3, 4. New Prime, Amaterasu, and Giuliano. That is a round win for Germany. Pretty much decided from the start due to those crashes at the beginning for Portugal. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. And it is up to 5 round wins. So don't count anyone out just yet. But it just goes to show how close this track can be. And at the same time, it goes to show how far these players are pushing it, because it wasn't as if these crashes were happening because they misjudged a corner or anything along those lines. It's really just a matter of pushing the track as far as they are able to. And we can see these placements in between. 1, 4, 6 on Portugal's side, 2, 3, 5 for German side. If they're able to hold on to this, that is a German win. And in fact, 1, 3, 5 is what it's going to be. New Prime overtaking Maui there. And round win going to Germany. Portugal starting to perhaps feel the pressure on their own map. And it is definitely one of the important parts when it comes to this picking and banning of maps, right? You're trying to ban these strengths and perhaps weaknesses that your opponent or you yourself have, and at the same time picking the tracks that you were confident on. And I would say that picking 6, one of the shortest and perhaps easiest tracks of the map pool that we have for this tournament, is quite a ballsy move, and in fact it's starting to not really pay off. We see New Prime and Giuliano in the lead, Maui getting in between of Giuliano Amaterasu, but he needs the rest of his team with him, and we can see in the splits Dancing Dog behind by a full 7/10 of a second. That is simply not enough to pick up any points, nor alone get into top 3. And it's starting to look a bit precarious for the Portuguese. All right. Very curious to see if Portugal this time around will be able to keep their heads cool and not have any crashes happening to them. Though I did see Acosta disappear on screen just now. So once again, not a good sign. Giuliano, New Prime taking the lead. Maui was in 3rd place for a little bit, but starting to lose a bit of speed throughout that middle section. While he is starting to speed up, Amaterasu is comfortably in 3rd place, and there's no way that Maui's going to be able to catch up. And an ace from Germany, and they are on map point, just like that. It was starting to look good, right? Portugal picking up the first map, feeling confident, but Germany, I guess, they just needed that one round to warm up and start to get into their own. And it's a tough one, right? Right now, Portugal has to win 4 rounds in a row to be able to hold on to their map pick. We'll see if they're able to happen. Acosta was having some issues throughout the map so far. Let's see if he's able to keep up the speed. Ooh, we do see a crash happening there on New Prime's side, so that is very good for Portugal. Are they able to maintain this lead? We can see the 3 players very close together, sandwiching Giuliano. And Amaterasu actually picking up some speed throughout the later part of the track, but is it going to be enough to overtake? No, keeps on number 5, and it is a 1-2-4 finish line for Portugal. So we're not quite done with 6 just yet, and if it's up to Portugal, I'm pretty dang sure we're going to see up to round number 9. Well, let's see if Germany is going to agree with that. I mean, it's a nice suggestion, a bit of a deal. I give you, like round number 9, you give me all the points. I don't know if Germany is up for that trade right there. Seems like a bit of an unfair trade, if you will, but it is all up to them and their driving skills. Nice close round to kick things off. We're already 20 seconds in, and just like that, halfway through. Ooh, Amaterasu and Giuliano playing from behind, but this is good enough for Germany to pick up the round win, especially with Acosta slowing down just like that. Bad landing, and we are done with 6. Germany leads the match 1-0, and also with that, move on to their own map pick. We're going to be playing on Spring 22. So this is not a good start for Portugal. 2 rounds is nice, but we'll see if they'll be able to speed things up. I do love how on the Portuguese side we have double babes. I don't know if you we got Netic does babes and Pika does babes, so there's that. I guess they like babes. I don't know. But yeah, 22. So this time around, it definitely will not be as quick of rounds as we had on 6. We're looking at times of about, this could be 55 to about a minute. And that is due to the fact that there's quite a lot of ice. And it is definitely not unexpected to see players sliding out or crashing on this track. This is, after all, one of the harder tracks in the map pool. I'm very curious to see how that'll work out for the Germans, right? Germany especially picking into this one. Giuliano at the moment with a number 6 on the leaderboard, so definitely going to see him on the field. But I'm very curious to see if on the Portuguese side, who will be the most favored one. Just a quick scroll down. Is there anyone? We do see Acosto on number 45. But he hasn't been looking too good on 6, so we'll see if that actually is positive or not. Perhaps he, at the end of the day, these players are doing a lot of time into practicing and getting better at these tracks. But that doesn't mean that on the day that you need to perform, that you might be playing on your best, or instead, you might not be having a great training, but on the day you're playing, the lines somehow work and you get all the slides right and you're able to push it outside on the dirt lines as much as possible, right? It's all about performance on the day itself. I'm curious to see, who is dancing now? Because on the Portuguese side, again, these are names registered, right? We've got Acosta, Arriaga, Maui, Pica, and Pereira. So dancing is either Arriaga or Pereira, and Nautic is either Arriaga or Pereira. Who will know? Who will know? All I know is I'm seeing Portuguese players go out and doing the best they can. And hopefully it's going to be good enough for them to beat Germany on their own map. Good luck to them, but at the same time, good luck to Germany as well, as we are live on 22. Kicking off another round 1. We do see some changes on the German side as well. We see Ratchet on the field. We see New Prime on the field, and I assume Giuliano is in as well. So Amaterasu will be taking it easy for now, sitting on the bench. And on the Portuguese side, we see Maui taking the bench over Pica. Pica will be fielding the track for now. Looking at the top 3 at the moment, it's looking favorable for Portugal, though it is a bit of a train moving forward. Giuliano takes the lead over on that ice section, and the rest of the German team actually is starting to catch up as well. All the Portuguese players being overtaken in the second half of Spring 22. And let's see if they're able to maintain and hold that. Number 1, 3, and 5 into the ice section we go. Pica trying to overtake. Let's see any slide outs. Perhaps what happened, the slide out is unfortunately on the side of Pica, and Germany kicks off things on their own map with an ace, driving a 55.5 as well from Giuliano. Nice time as well. This is the expected fastest player as well, so not truly surprised that he's driving a 55, but whew, I mean, just to put it into perspective, right, the offer time on this track is a 103, all right? And plenty of people will have issues getting offer time on 22. These people are driving 55s in rounds, just to put that into perspective. It's truly impressive, if you will. Right now, good start for the German side as well. New Prime going a bit to the left while Ratchet's trying to recover, moving to the right, allowing Acosta to get in between the two, but he needs the rest of the team with him. But Pica at the moment in 4th place. I don't think, it perhaps could be, we got the dog himself on number 5. 2-3-5 would be good enough for points, but let's see how this ice goes for all the players. Ooh, Giuliano actually slides out, and that might cost Germany the round. Does it though? Yes, it does. Number 2, 3, and 4 instead becomes a Portuguese names, and a round goes to Portugal with that. That last slide there, that last corner definitely is one that we have seen cause quite some issues for multiple teams already. So where 6, you might say, you know, the the placements are pretty much decided as we get into the final few turns. This track is definitely not one of them, so do keep your eyes open. You might just see someone flying. Good start for the Germans right now coming out of that quarter pipe jump, and it's been this section right here that has been especially good for the Germans. You can see right there Giuliano and Ratchet just doing a fantastic job out of the water onto the ice and just keeping that speed, keeping that momentum, and sliding their ways forward, building up a lot of space. And with Pika driving over the grass right there, New Prime takes third place away from him, looking like an ace. I mean, the only thing that would happen right now to help the Portuguese out is slide outs from all the German players, but instead it's a nice 1-2-3 slide on in right there with a 55-point tree as well from Giuliano. Truly an amazing run, amazing round from the Germans, and a very, very good example of how they have control of that middle section right there. It's definitely not easy to get that water bounce and then at the same time be able to get the slide in. We've seen people get into that slide and then crash into the wall following the next roadblock, and they some are able to just nail it. I mean, I get it like 20% of the time. Oh, but what was that? Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's the most impressive thing that can happen flawlessly, and it can be the most obvious obstacles that can cause issues. Ratchet right there hitting the hole at the same time. Dancing Doc does the same thing, hits these holes, these potholes in the ground, you know, like in the road. Truly painful. Ooh, New Prime this time around, not getting the slide that you would like. Giuliano, though, on the other hand, is doing a fantastic job. But we do see the Portuguese players in hot pursuit. 2, 4, and 5, they're gonna need to get that number 3 spot. Some I hope that New Prime can be taken away from the podium, because otherwise this is a German round. We'll see no slide outs. In fact, the slide out happens to Pika right there, and a 1-2 instead for the Germans. So instead of trying to retake that third spot, they get a 1-2 punch in to pick up a round of their own. It's truly insane, though, at the same time, the times we've seen, right? We've seen top 50 times come in already. Just to give an idea of the pace that is happening. And at the moment, the pace very much is in favor of Germany. Portugal so far only haven't been able to pick up a round win of their own. Quite a high jump right there from Ratchet. So I'm not quite sure if that's going to be able to give him the speed that he wants, though. The ice slide definitely gives him the speed. Just shoots forward from 5th into 2nd place, following his teammate Giuliano. And Giuliano has been doing a fantastic job, definitely being the MVP on 22. Haven't really done a bad job in any other rounds, right? He's been able to pick up top 3, picking up the points that his team needs, and it makes such a big difference to have at least one player to consistently hit those top 3 times and top 3 points. Right now, Yacosta going a bit too far on the inside, but too little, too late. Ratchet and Giuliano both in the lead, and look at that, a 55.0 coming in from Ratchet. I'm not, is that a PB for him? Is that a PB for Ratchet? I think it is. Oh, yeah. What a ridiculous time. Either way. Ridiculous times. Not quite the PB, but nevertheless, I find it extremely impressive to... you're driving 55s live? Yeah, no wonder you're picking this track. And right now, though, we don't see Ratchet nearby the top pack. We see Giuliano and New Prime. New Prime, we haven't seen too much in the race so far. But at the moment, doing a great job. Not the best water into ice right there. Oh, Pika as well, not having the line right there. And able to, you know, like, kind of recover, mainly because on the German side there have been some mistakes, some issues happening, right? We only have New Prime at the moment left, and yeah, the other German players right now behind by about 5 seconds, so really definitely first half of the track just causing a lot of issues happening right there. There you go, Ratchet. There you go, Ratchet made it. Ratchet made it. There we go. But yeah, I mean, with that, it's still Germany on map point, and one could argue that it's because of these crashes happening that Portugal was able to make it, and it's definitely looking like the pace is higher on Germany's side, and Portugal is trying to match it, right? They're trying to go for it, perhaps to a certain extent, pushing it and risking it a bit more than they would usually do. But that is a fantastic way of making more mistakes and seeing things go wrong even more. Ooh, we do see New Prime falling quite a ways behind. Not quite sure what happened to him right there. But at the moment, 2 German players in the top 3, and we see 2 Portuguese players sliding out. We see Picanhas Gosto flying out of there, and all we have left is the dog that is dancing, but dancing is not what he needs to do right now. He needs to bring his team and bring him forward into the finish line, but with this distance between Portugal and Germany, it's going to be an ace to close things out on 22. All they need to do is to get the last ice slide in. Ratchet on 1, Giuliano on 2, and New Prime on 3. Germany leads the match 2-0, and we'll see if 20 is going to be the one where Portugal will start their comeback. That's a lot of shouting. It's not even going to make it in the finish. All that shouting for what? You're not even getting into that finish. No. Sometimes these horns. Oof. But yeah, tough start for Portugal. Portugal, who has been doing, had a great start in the Swiss bracket, going up 2-0, but eventually ended the Swiss in 3-2. Despite that, definitely showing some amazing races, but perhaps today not quite the level that they used to, or perhaps just not happy with the map pick so far. Although you would say that 6 being their map, right, it would have been more in their favor. And it seemed to not be a pace issue, right? Because clearly all the players were around the same pace. It was perhaps jitters, perhaps stress, perhaps just, you know, like gravity not treating you right. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, 20, we got a lot of dirt. So if you're into dirt tracks and you like to avoid potholes in the ground, then 20 is the map for you. Taking a quick look at what we have going on in terms of leaderboard. So we have an AT of 104, but a world record time of 55.8 seconds. That one is set by Kebby, which, I mean, unsurprisingly, Kebby fastest one in the campaign, so go figure. But looking at the players that we have on the field right now, we do see New Prime on number 12 with a 56.5. So that is, again, positive for Germany and not looking too good for Portugal. Though Arriaga is number 17 with a 56.6. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit of a 1v1 going on and fighting between the two. We'll see what transpires, what goes on. I mean, I could keep looking, right? I could keep looking through these times, but at the same time, all it can give us is an idea, an expectation, perhaps, if you will. And when we can look at the top two, there's clearly pace for Germany. There's pace for Portugal in the players that we have on the field today. But will that translate into actual great performance? Will that translate into some close races for that number 1, number 2 spot? At the end of the day, right now, it's all about Portugal having to win each and every map if they want to stay in winner's bracket and try to move on into the winner's final. Otherwise, they will be relegated into the lower bracket. And from that point on, you got to win every single match if you want to stay in the tournament. Here we are. Here we go. Live once more on Spring 20. Germany in the lead, 2-0. They just need one more map to take home the win. Let's see if they're able to translate, or instead, this is the time for Portugal to make the comeback. Reverse sweep coming in, perhaps. We'll see. Giuliano and New Prime, first and second place. We see Dancing Dong. I'm going to assume that's Arriaga is in third place. Ratchet right behind, but Dancing Dog right now missing the rest of his team. Behind by a second and a half, and with that jump not going the way of Portugal either, it's looking like a bad start for them. I don't think there's enough time. No, there's just, even with a crash, I don't think this is going to happen. It's going to be an ace for Germany to kick things off once again. They just need 4 more rounds, and they will move on to the next round. There's a lot of rounds. I don't know why I say round so often. Must be the format. All right, number 2. See if the dirt this time around pays Portugal a few more favors. And we'll see the players getting in between and stopping the Germans from picking up more of those dang valuable points. Nice close round to kick things off, though. Oof, as I am saying it, we do see Acosto unfortunately going a bit too wide on the dirt. New Prime not able to manage his way around the holes. Ooh, Giuliano, dancing dog, so close to the wall right there, but able to maintain the pace and keep making use of all the space that they have available to them. 2 and 3, definitely favorable for Portugal as long as they're able to hold on to the number 5, which Acosto at the moment is holding on to, though I don't expect Giuliano to let go of this number 1 spot. This would be 6 points, 6 necessary points for Germany. Ooh, not quite sure what happened in the back, but 2 and 3 do go to Dancing Donk and Pika, and yet Costo comes in number 4, New Prime, just a little bit behind him, but that is a round win for Portugal. This time around, definitely better stuff for Portugal, able to hold on, perhaps due to some mistakes. We didn't see Ratchet, what exactly happened to him, but New Prime, we did see the holes not favoring him, if you will. I mean, it's a straight line in terms of the blocks used, but you know, you need to get into the checkpoint and navigate a little bit to the left because you got to get around the hole, and then you know you got to get back to the right because you know the road's right there. It's definitely quite easy to accidentally go a little bit too tight and clip one of the holes. Here we go. Let's see if any of the players do so. In fact, one of them does. We just lost Ratchet. And it is a 2v3 in favor of Portugal, you would say, but not in terms of where the players are at the moment. Oh, Acosta doesn't make the jump, and New Prime and Giuliano hold on to their numbers 1 and 2. That's all they need for a round win if they're able to maintain this. And right now, the Portuguese players are getting further and further away from him. So despite the fact that Ratchet was unable to manage his way around those dang potholes, we see a 57.2, a 57.3 coming from New Prime and Giuliano. Good times for them. And with that, another round win with a nice 1-2. 11 points is all you need to win a round. Getting some water. Just getting some water, guys. Oh, gotta make sure, you know, I can keep talking. Because we have 4 matches today. This is matches 1 out of 4. For today, and we'll see which teams will be spectating after this match around. Obviously, we need to wait for all the other matches to round up. But do keep in mind, it's going to be a nice long day, so I hope you got your snacks, hope you got your drinks ready for some great Trackmania action. Ooh, looking at the match itself, we do see that third turn right there. You're coming into that turn with a lot of speed, and it isn't easy to use that speed and then be able to get to the outside as much as possible without hitting that wall. But unfortunately, many players right there were unable to do so. And at the end of it all, oh, Pika had to respawn. Not quite sure what happened there on the downhill. But just like that, while it was looking relatively okay for Portugal, just needed one more play to come in. Instead, it's going to be an ace. And I'm not sure why Giuliano slowed down there. Maybe he wanted New Prime to overtake him. You're like, yeah, no, you get in first. But that definitely went wrong all in one turn for pretty much all the players. The only one unable, not having these issues was Pika, but at the same time, it was the downhill that somehow didn't go his way. We're already getting some results in the meantime. It's starting to look like Portugal's going to have to fight their way in at the moment, you know, behind 3-1. We do see that England has defeated Italy 3-0. So we will be seeing England move on into winner's bracket round number 2, while Italy will try one more time in the loser's bracket. Oh, let's see how this dirt turn goes this time. This time around, no crashes whatsoever. Everybody, holding on until the end for Yakosto. He was unable to keep his footing the entire way through. And the German team being chased by a dancing dog. I mean, dogs and cars, not a big fan. And he's really chasing them now, right? Really barking away, like, just get back here, woof, woof, woof. And it's, he got one. He got one right there. So, impressive. Fortunately, not enough. New Prime and Ratchet unaffected by all the barking behind them. And it is another round win for Germany. Just one more. Just one more is what they need, and they will move on. Not the easiest race for Portugal. But who knows? Who knows? Again, it is not over yet. I hate to say it's over before it's actually over. I can see the rallying cries. I can see the power up, right? That second win coming in for Portugal. They just need to get it at the right time, utilize it, and they'll turn this around into a 2-2. If you believe, then I believe. This is totally not copium. Either way, they've been showing great pace. It's really been the consistency that has been playing parts on them. And if they are able to somehow, get into that mindset of theirs, they can drive great, right? If they can embrace that and not worry too much about playing against a team like Germany, then that would be amazing. Coming out of that third turn, we did see all the players doing a great job navigating around the holes, but it does look like Giuliano and Ratchet were the ones doing it the best. And this is looking like lights out for Portugal. Just a few more turns remaining. Again, the dog chasing down the German players. And New Prime actually having more speed into the sand. And it is an ace for Germany to finish off the match. It's Germany 3, Portugal 0. Congratulations to Germany for moving on to the next round. We're not going to say goodbye to Portugal just yet. With that, they drop down to the lower bracket. But regardless, they put up a great fight. And let's hope we'll be able to see them later on in the tournament as well. What a match. What a match in terms of speed, in terms of crashes. But I don't think for any Portuguese viewers or fans, I assume you will be hoping better. You're hoping you'd see more, you'd see faster, see more round wins, right? But it is what it is. This definitely is one of those matches that could have gone either way. I think it really came down to just Portugal and their the level of play today that they brought today. Again, this is not a team of players that usually would play this way. These are players that definitely would usually have higher pace, higher speed, and it's unfortunate. But it is what it is. We're going to see teams win. We're going to see teams lose. And eventually we're going to have to say goodbye and crown a champion at the end of it all. At the same time, someone told me, I'm pretty sure I read it on the internet somewhere, cats sleep like 16 hours a day. So we have only 8 to use cats. And we got a live one, right? We finally woke up. Took a little bit of time. But, out of Quantum has woken up from death. How are you feeling? How are you doing? Hope you got a good night's sleep.
Oh, it was terrific. I came back home yesterday, like 8 hours ago. Oh, man, what a late night that I had. So, wanted to make sure my head wouldn't be on a pedestal if I started off too early as well, right? I was awake, but I was like that awake, I wasn't awake. I needed the lime juice, which is in this cup right now. So,
lime juice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Pure lime juice, 100% lime juice. It's amazing on the wake up, by the way.
Never tried. Something I might have to. I don't actually go out and get lime juice. Like, I don't ever have limes even. I have limes in like, what is it? Like beer.
Yeah. I mean, think of it like lemon, right? But even more concentrated in its power. It's great. It's great. I love it.
Well, there you go. There you go, guys. In case you need a drink to wake yourself up and you want something different in coffee or something along those lines.
Oh yeah,
lime juice.
If you're having a cola, just put some lime juice in there. It just adds that little bit of acidity. It's great. I think that's great stuff.
I'm pretty sure somewhere that's like a standard drink that you can just get in the supermarket. I guarantee it. I'm pretty sure I've actually I know it exists. I just don't know the brand. I feel like I've heard of this at some point. Oh man. Well, I mean, while you were waking up and while the matches were going on, we do have some match results coming in as well. We already mentioned England, Italy being a 3-0 in favor of England. So I'm sure all the English are happy with them. And I'm going to say Brits because we also had Scotland and we had Ireland. Although Ireland is in Northern Ireland, so there's a whole thing going on there.
There
Either
was
way,
also Wales.
there's also Wales. Pff, the Welsh, no.
Did you actually forget the Welsh?
I mean,
my guy.
You think I'm the only one? Like you're saying this like people don't like. All right, it's not like they speak Welsh anyways. Like 1/3 speaks Welsh, so good luck with that. Oh man. Well, on the Nordic side, we do have Sweden versus Denmark.
Yes.
That one goes to the winter champions Denmark, winning 3-1 with a 5-0 on Sweden's pick and 5-0 on the Danish pick, and then Denmark just started to play the random maps into their favor with 20-17 even. So that's interesting to see. On the other side, we also have another German team. We had 2 German teams in, so this is Germany 2 playing against Finland, another Nordic team, and this one also goes the way of the Nordics, looking like the cold weather or maybe a bit warmer at this point. I'm not quite sure what the weather is around there. It's playing into their favor as well, 3-1 win. Obviously, we just saw Germany versus Portugal come in being a 3-0 in favor of Germany. And finally, we have Ireland versus France too. Notably, the only French team remaining in the tournament at the moment. And Ireland won that match 3-1. So are we actually going to see a French team go out before top 4? That would be a first. That would be a first in TSCC.
Yeah. That would be a first. And you know what else would be a first? I would actually be right with the prediction if Bireland continues the way it does.
Oh, yeah.
They've been amazing. Man, what a pick by me. Oh, man, I'm loving my pick. Since Canada wasn't here, I had to choose a team to cheer for, right? Of course, last week. And, of course, you have the Netherlands, right? You already had your team picked out for you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I searched large and wide for a team that it would be the fans' pick, that the people would love to see win. Bireland, right? With Birdie and the rest of Ireland on it. Beautiful. And to see them in the winner bracket of the quarterfinals, that's great. Now in the semis now, right? Of the winner side?
I believe
or the quarters.
We're not quite at semis just yet. We're going into quarters now. This was round of 16. So we'll have quarters coming in. Just a quick refresh just to see if we already have some matches with that lined up. So we're looking, Ireland will be facing off against either Czechia or the Netherlands. So we'll see which of the two it'll be. One match already set up. England versus Denmark. Those two will be facing off against each other. Germany, we just saw win against Portugal, and Germany will be waiting for the winner between Switzerland and Slovakia. And then Finland winning their match, and they're waiting for the winners between Russia and India. So still some matches left to be played, 3 exactly, and then we'll know exactly who will be playing up against who. In the lower bracket with that as well, we already see one match, Sweden versus Italy.
Yeah, that one's going to be tough. I think the toughest match, though, will be the Denmark-England match, because already that's a clash of titans, right? 2 teams that are expecting top 4 here. Denmark, obviously the latest champions, and England having a really, really solid run of things so far. I would not be surprised if England actually win that match, because I mean Denmark have shown weakness in this version of TSCC here. They've lost a match, so England have yet to do so. Let's see if they can continue on that trend.
Yeah, definitely. Just quick look, right? England, Scotland 3-0, England, Austria 3-0, England, Portugal 3-1, right? They've only dropped 1 map in that, and it's been pretty much no maps lost other than that. So definitely a nice fairy tale run for England right now. Perhaps football is finally coming home. Who knows? It's not football, so I don't know how that even applies to this, but somehow this is something that always comes up. So, hey, we'll see.
It's not going to go that far. It's gonna be England's going to go all the way to the finals and then lose, just like they did in the World Cup. All right.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, but that's just how things work, really. I mean, that's not as like predicting stuff. That's just facts.
No. That's just the way England does things. They bring everyone's hopes up and then they crap the bed.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much that.
Sounds like a fair assessment, doesn't it? Yeah. England, prove me wrong.
I mean, to be fair,
I
as
want
a
to be
Canadian
proven wrong.
citizen yourself, there's always bias, you know. I mean,
Right.
then again, you could be from many parts in the world and you'll have bias towards England. That's just
True.
imperialism for you, right?
Yeah. Queen, bring it home for the Queen. She's still on my money.
There you go.
See, I still have the Queen on my money. If you guys could see that, that is the British Queen on my money. There you go.
Thing with that, I do see some typing happening in the match results, but we'll be posting the match results in the chat right here. Our next matches will be happening in about 30 minutes, I suppose, in terms of map schedule. Perhaps we'll be starting a bit earlier, a bit later. Be sure to keep an eye out on the channel in the meantime. So don't go too far away, and we'll be back once again with the next matches. We'll have the winners bracket quarterfinals happening alongside the losers bracket round number 1. We'll let you know which match we'll be featuring on the channel right here. But for now, take it easy, and we'll see you in just a little bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to tscc for day number 3. We're now in round number 2 of the playoffs. My name is Quantum Deathcat here with Boney C, and we are here for a little bit of desk analysis here while we wait for the matches to get ready and get started here. We already know 6 of the 8 matches that will be taken forth. We're still waiting on 1 match to finish, but in the meantime, how about we give our predictions for the upcoming matches?
Sounds good. Sounds good to me. I mean, we got some exciting matches coming in. We got some teams that might get knocked out, some teams that will be moving on. So I'm all in for it. I mean, I already saw, was it one of the results coming in during the break? Czech Republic versus Netherlands, and Netherlands losing that one. Was a close one, 3-2. So, you know, I will be voting against Czech Republic pretty much every single time because they beat the Netherlands. How dare they? Because that's logic, right? I think that's logic.
That's very logical. How about we start off in the lower bracket then, right? How about we talk about the Netherlands then? Netherlands versus France 2, who also find themselves down here after being beaten by Bierenland and taken down to the lower bracket. What are your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, I mean, France 2, definitely, usually France teams are the ones to be concerned about, but this tournament around, it does look like some issues perhaps on the French side and just, you know, getting into the playoffs. And I mean, I would say Netherlands would have the upper hand in terms of the amount of players, right? Netherlands team has 5 players against 4 for France 2. And at the same time, it wasn't exactly the easiest route either for France to try and qualify. So I would edge it out to Netherlands, right? There's still bias from my end, like, oh, obviously Netherlands is going to get it. But also just looking at results, it's looking like Netherlands would be the better team for this one in, but that doesn't take away the pressure, right? Both teams in the lower bracket, both teams at risk of getting eliminated.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that there was necessarily an issue with the Netherlands in that match. You saw they're the only team that went to 5 maps in their matches so far. I'm guessing that's where Russia and India are right now on map number 5, which is why it's taking so long. So honestly, the Netherlands probably going to be able to take down France 2. I agree. I'm going to say in a 3-1 fashion, right? France 2, very well known to be good on ice, especially on 18 in particular. So let's see if they can bring one map win. That's what I'm guessing they will on an ice map. But the Dutch afterwards will win the other 3. That's my guess here for that first lower bracket match.
Especially if ice were the way to go. We saw in Netherlands, for example, banning ice tracks during their match versus Ireland. So I wouldn't be surprised if their first name would be take out 18, right? They just take out 14 or take out 18, not even thinking about it. And France will most likely just pick into which one wasn't banned. So that's definitely I'd say 3-1 is probably the most realistic for this one.
Do you want to name the players on the Dutch side? Because okay, Raveout already wrote it out in chat. But,
I mean, can you pronounce it? I want to hear you try to pronounce these names.
All right.
This is fun. This is
all
fun.
Right. I'm gonna try my best. You have Stoofts, you have Jussie, you have Pardevenker, you have Piedit, and you have Spike.
I'll give it like a 2.5 out of 5. That's what I'm gonna give that. Right?
Say it. Come on, say it better than I can.
I mean, so yeah, Stufts, Jussie, Paardenvechter, Piedif, and Jan van Spijk.
Okay, I had Spike properly. Yeah.
Yeah, Spike is like Spike like a spike. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Spike.
Dutch isn't that different from English. It's just to be like a lot.
Hey, listen, I'm French. It's hard for me. Really bastardized French on top of that. France too, by the way, have Fonture, Salty, Nescubi, and Negium on their side as well. So that's going to be a tough matchup. We both say 3-1 for the Dutch here.
I'd say so. Yeah.
Let's move on then to Sweden versus Italy. This matchup's very, very tight, I would say. This one is going to be a barn burner, in my opinion. It's sad that we won't get to see it live.
Definitely. It's, I mean, both teams stacked, right? The one thing we've been talking about, right? Sweden is missing Kebby, which would have been made a great team into an amazing team. But despite that, they still have a great lineup coming into it. Losing their match against Denmark in the winner's bracket. And at the same time, Italy losing their match against England. We'll see.
Yeah.
Be a diff? Okay, be a diff. Okay.
Fine. Speaking of fine, India has beaten Russia. Finally. So all 8 matches are known. Finland versus India in the winner bracket, and Russia versus Germany 2 in the losers. So let's... while we still set up this match, right? We still have about 5-10 minutes before we get into it.
Probably. We got time.
Sweden versus Italy, right? It's as you said, right? Relatively close. You have Nuclear, Bronco, Wildcard, Limpan, and Gus Sillypants up against Pickle Dave, Kirisu, Rufo, Simon, and J4K. Who do you got on the side here? Because I'm leaning towards Sweden, but Italy also has a lot of top 50 players.
It's for me not too familiar with the Italian scene, so I find it very hard to really give a good prediction on this one. Sweden so far, along with Italy, both I'd say in terms of performances haven't been quite that different from each other, right? They're pretty much if you were to have like tiers or whatnot, I'd say they both be on the same tier for this tournament in particular. So I wouldn't be surprised if this one were to go either way, and it more be dependent on which maps are picked through the random ones, because I wouldn't be surprised if their own map picks, they'll do a fine job, which they have been doing throughout the tournament on their own picks. But if the random ones will be in a favor, I think that is the thing that'll decide it. This easily could be a 3-2 match, honestly. Yeah. And I think it'd be... I could call it Sweden 3-2. I could call it Italy 3-2. Honestly, it's the way the moon and sun are in the skies or whatnot, how the stars are aligned, and whether or not Venus is visible, stuff like that. Who knows, right? Maybe their horoscope was like just not good for them. It could go either way.
I'm going to go with a Sweden 3-1, but I think Italy will bring one of those maps where they lose to 4, right? They'll lose 5-4 on one map, is what I'm going to guess.
Right.
Which is what's going to allow Sweden to win 3-1.
You're saying Italy is out. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm saying Italy is out. Hey, I'm half Italian. That's the worst part, right? I want to be I want to be biased with Italy, right? Because I love everything Italy, right? I cheer for Italy when it comes to soccer, right? I do. If Canada's not there, I normally Italy is my go-to, but this time around, I just can't see it happening for Italy. I feel like it's going to be a close match, but I think Sweden just has not this overall skill. I think they have a small thing called clutch factor that the Italians don't have. I'm going to say it that way.
All right, well, there you go. I'll stick with the 3-2, but I wouldn't be able to call it. All right, I'm gonna say Italy just to be, just to counter you. That's it.
Okay,
That's the only reason why I'm gonna favor Italy in this one. But honestly, to me, it feels like definitely a coin flip, and it's gonna come down to whichever random maps will be more in their favor. We got what else do we have now? We have Slovakia, Portugal, and we just saw Portugal unfortunately lose against Germany, but they definitely have space. It's the question of if their consistency, which has been their Achilles heels for the previous match, is going to hurt them against their match against Slovakia. Because I'd say on paper, Portugal would be the faster team, but they're not looking that consistent. Not to concern.
I would say that the consistency is definitely an issue. But at the same time, on the side of Slovakia, that's been their strong point, right? They've been slightly slower than most, but they've not been crashing that much. That's really what's allowed them to stay in this tournament for so long. Sure. But the problem is that now you're at a point of the tournament where you need the speed, right? And a final goodbye is your only player in the top 100, and at this point, that's not going to be enough, right? Up against Portugal, who have a lot of players, namely Maui on their side, that's in top 100. So you're going to need a big fight here if you're Slovakia. I'm going to lean towards Portugal despite their inconsistencies here. I think they just had to push themselves way too hard up against the Germans, and that's why they were crashing. They can easily slow down by 2-3 tenths on most maps here and still beat the Slovaks, I would imagine.
Yeah. I find it hard just because we've just seen Portugal play. Perhaps that's it's fresh in my mind. This might be causing them some issues, but despite that, I'd say I'd agree with you in seeing Portugal take the match, but I don't think it would be as easy because we've seen Autobus and Cuppacat, right? We've seen those previously as well, and they're doing a great job alongside Final Back. From what I understood, is an old school players why Loso called beforehand. See, these are things this information we're getting through, and I think it's important to note as well because it's usually these old veterans, right, if you will, that can just come into a new Trackmania game and just crush it.
I mean, we saw Hellfest, right? Look at Hellfest in the standings of this campaign. Right, yeah. He's right up there. He's come back to TM 2020 just for this, and well, look at it. He's absolutely crushing it after not playing this game for 2 years. Right, he's stuck with TMNF, and well, his TMNF training has still come in and helped him and get so good at this game. Right, despite the fact that it's very different physics wise. Well, especially compared to the early build of TM 2020. Right, there's been so many physics changes. To ice boosters, to the way that your icy tires transition on dirt, right? Everything's changed, relatively speaking. There's water now, there's plastic, there's all these things that are not in TMNF that he's not trained whatsoever, and he can still transition to it very, very comfortably, it seems. And I'm sure other old school players can do the same.
Oh, yeah. I think it's just a matter of knowing the game, right? New surfaces are just things that come. They just come to them. I wouldn't be surprised if any old school player who decides to just come in can do a fantastic job. It's one of the things that I love about Trackmania as well, compared to a game like StarCraft, perhaps, right, where you don't necessarily need like the APM, if you will, right? If your map knowledge is good, if your understanding of the game is good, you should be able to drive high pace no matter, like if you're 15, 20, 25, 30, right? It's allowing these veterans to be alive and be competitive at the same level that you're used to seeing them, which I think is amazing, right? It offers that longevity to the scene,
So let's talk about this match that we're gonna do up here, right? We still have 4 matches to talk about. We could talk about it after, but now let's talk about Bireland versus Czechia, right? This is gonna be a really tough match, in my opinion. Man, I'm gonna say Bireland, and with my bias, I'm gonna say 3-0 in their favor. But I might be completely wrong. Bireland 3-0. They're starting off with a 16 and 14 ban, and then we are gonna go on to what maps, Mr. Boney?
So it does look like we have the picks coming from Czechia. It's gonna go into 13, and Ireland goes for 20. We'll get our final few bans in, but all right, 13 and 20. Well, I mean, we just saw 20 full dirt track coming in for Ireland, whereas on the Czechia side, instead, we're gonna have a plasticky one, right?
Yeah,
very road plastic.
Very interesting map ban pool, right? Because everything's condensed between 13 and 20, right? That's 8 maps that are either banned or picked.
Yeah,
right. So
we've seen that throughout the tournaments as well, right? It's been in the 10s. Those have been the most banned. There have been like a few within the 20s, but it's really been within the 10s, right? 14, 18 is definitely something we've seen a lot. We've seen 15 go out, 11 go out, 17, right? Just all in the 10s. All in the 10s. Oh, those random maps are amazing. Getting 24, 17, and 25. Now that's high-level racing. That's high-level racing for you.
That is high-level racing. Let's talk about the players who are going to be playing in this match, right? So we've got ourselves on the side of Bireland. You're wondering, why is it not called Ireland? It's because Birdie is playing along with the Irish here. We got Hot Swat, Babsify, Dank, and Walshy as well there next to Birdie, who honestly has been such a good team. My dark horse to go all the way to at least minimum top 4. Czech Republic on the other side have Elkon, Kiro, Loudus, Murray, and Hansi. Really, really good Czech players. Honestly, there is nothing wrong with these players whatsoever.
Just to interject, though, unfortunately, Elkon unable to.
Is
like
not?
That would have been that is a. It is a loss, right? It is a loss. I can imagine.
That's a big loss.
Yeah, but it is how it goes. So Czech Republic will have 4 players coming in instead, right? Kiro, Murray, Loudus, and Hansi.
Yeah, I think now my 3-0 pick for Bireland doesn't look so crazy, does it?
Perhaps,
oh boy.
Perhaps not. I still don't know if 3-0 is the way it would go. I would favor Ireland, but I don't think a 3-0. I think a 3-1 or 3-2 would be more in the cards, especially with these high map picks, right? We're not picking into 5, into 6, 7, or 8, right? Not one of these lower ones that can go by quite quickly. Instead, 20 and 13. These are not tracks that. 13 is probably the shortest one of the tracks that we have in this pool. With looking at the top times, we're looking at 38.6s. So
right. So honestly, it's gonna be really tough overall, because all these maps, right? You have 1 blue track, you have 2 red tracks, and then you have 2 black tracks, right? So they're really technical tracks all in all set together, right? Especially you got 24 and 25, right? 24 being the hardest author medal of the campaign. As well as probably the toughest to be really consistent on. 25, very tough map overall.
Oh yeah,
I would say probably not the hardest, but it is definitely up there as one of the hardest of the campaign. Most people would say 24 is the hardest of the campaign, though.
Probably, yeah. It's the fact that what we've seen is that when tracks are longer, more mistakes can happen. I think that is the main concern when it comes to tracks like 25. It takes a long time. It just takes a long time to actually finish the round. 24 is, in terms of AT, the longest one, but only by a second, right? You've got a 110 for 24, which is in the map pool. We're guaranteed to see 24. 25 would be the closest. That is a 109 offer time. So that, says a lot about the length of those. I wouldn't be surprised even if this were to be the trio, right? This still would be a long match simply due to the fact of the maps that we are playing.
Right. All right. So, what could
Also, just look at that. Check you already 4-0 up. Like, are you sure? You sure about Ireland just taking this one?
You know what? I'm happy with my pick. Bireland 3-0. I've always said this, right? I love the Czech Republic as a team in this tournament, in these TSCCs. They've always done really, really well. But without Elkon there, that's your backbone, right? Elkon is your backbone by far. The most consistent player, I would say, out of anyone, right? On the Czech side. So as good as Loudus, Murray, Hansi, and that last player.
I just like to drown there.
Thank you. Kivo I don't think they can make up the difference of Elkon not being there. Not just that, but Bira has really been on his game, and Hot Swat being there as well is so scary on the side of the Czechs. And with how strong Bireland have been, I don't see a way they even lose a map, in my opinion.
I will say Ireland so far has been that dark horse, right? And definitely having the skill shown that they will go far in the tournament. I'd say to a certain extent, I would agree with you that Ireland takes this one, but yeah, I wouldn't want to just discount right away Czechia for just a 3-0 and they'll take rounds here and there, but they won't take a map. I'm not sure if that's going to be a case. I do think picking into 13, I mean, it's not the craziest pick out there, but no, I think it's definitely one that you go for if you're you're relatively comfortable and confident on it, while at the same time it's not like 6 where everyone can pretty much be fast, because it's not a long track, it's not a hard track, and it's a relatively easy one to grind.
Right. Rave out, put us back on the cams, please. That way you can figure out everything in the background. In the meantime, let's talk about the other matches. We finished talking about 3 other matches, so let's finish off 4 now. Let's finish off the other 4. Let's do the last match in the losers bracket we haven't talked about, Russia versus Germany 2. That one's gonna be a tough one in my opinion. Russia's a really good team overall. They've just shown up, and they've always had some upsets every single TSCC, I think, right? They've always come in and been able to upset, but we see a few returning players, right? Narovsky and Inkvi returning, but we don't see the big players. If you recall correctly, the really big Russian players that carried in the past TSCCs, they're not there this time around. So it's going to be rougher, I think, for the Russians here up against Germany, who have Agent, Epidemic, Enzo, Grubby, and Nej. Honestly, all said and done here, I think it's going to be a 3-2 match in favor of Russia. Just looking at this, just on the pure standpoint of
Germany, you can rate them in Ingvi, right? These are 2 Russian players we've seen before, and have been performing well in the past. Ooh, but yeah, I would say 3-2, and perhaps Germany 2. Again, this feels like another one of those where I'd say, tier-wise, we're around the same level, around the same place. And maybe it is just me being an overly positive guy that I'm just hoping for these 3-2s because I want close matches. Yeah. But this once again feels to me like one of those where, I honestly could go either way. Could go down to just the maps that are picked and randomized, right? And but at the same time, it could be either team just winning it. Again, just based on how they feel, what they have for breakfast. Maybe they have some lime juice.
Yeah. Do you have some lime juice? I have plenty of lime juice right here.
No, just aqua. Yeah. That's refreshing.
Very refreshing lime juice, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, Russia, Germany 2. I agree. It's gonna be a close match. Think that one's going to go the way of Germany or Russia. You could go either way with it, right? Just depends on the map pool, honestly, in that case. I'm going to say Russia, though. I think they have just a better map pool overall over Germany, too. Let's go now to the other German team. Germany versus Switzerland. These guys are the favorites to win, obviously, right? We just saw Germany absolutely dismantle Portugal. I'm going to say this, again, a 3-0. I can't even give Switzerland a map here. They are one of, by far, a top 8 team, right? They probably do deserve a map or two, but I don't think Germany's going to allow them to even get one.
I to a certain extent would inclined to me. So on Switzerland's side, right, we've got Wardroff, Jitski, Ox, Jean-Michon, and Forever coming in as a stand-in for the Swiss team. Yeah. So in terms of lineup, all right, it's I would say they're like destined for greatness, right, if you will. But Germany is just looking very strong, right? They're looking very strong, and Switzerland hasn't looked that strong in comparison.
I mean, they've been okay. They've been strong. They've been getting PBs matches, right? But
yeah,
I'm saying 3-0 still for Germany.
I can see a world where this is a trio for Germany. But I'm going to go with 3-1. I can see Switzerland winning their map pick. Switzerland winning their map pick, but I do think Germany would overall just have the win, right? Just winning more rounds when it is necessary, when it is needed to clutch out the win.
1 minute left in the warm-up before we get into our Bierland versus Czech Republic match. Let's rapid fire the last two. England-Denmark, this is the biggest match, I think, out of all of them. I'm going to say 3-2 in favor of England.
I'm going to 3-1 in favor of England. That's where I'm going. I'm going to doubt the Danish a little bit for this one. Perhaps that'll give them some power. Who knows?
Yeah, if you doubt them, maybe they'll just grow stronger in power. Then Finland versus India. They upset Russia, I would say, right? This is a really strong Indian team. Kunal, Iridium, Nami, Scorpid, and Neil. I would say that Finland honestly have the upper hand. However, India have a chance at winning this. I'm going to say this is going to be a 3-1 for Finland. But if the map pool goes their way, India could obviously win this.
Oh yeah, we've seen India perform under pressure even when they're down 1-4, right, on a map. They're able to strike back. But for this one, you know, like if I'm not cheering for the Nuns, I'm cheering for Finland. I'm saying 3-0 Finland, taking it home, no problem. All right. Okay. These Finnish players, you know, they have it's early, right? It's hot. They haven't drank too much yet. They're gonna get it. They're gonna get it.
No lime juice in their system. No, who has lime juice in their system, though? It's obviously Beardy, right? Who is currently in the lead in the first round of the second match here for day number 3 of tscc. As we see right now, Birdie and Hot Swap 1 and 2. Murray and Hansi trying their best to catch up to the two Irish lads up at the front. Hansi trying to keep up, but he just can't. It's a 1-2 for Birdie and Hot Swat. And in fact, Birdie even gets a 39.9. It's a very nice time on this map. Murray gets 4th. Babzafai gets 5th. And a DNF here for Kiro, who doesn't start off so hot.
Not a good start indeed. And this is, you know, on the Czechia's pick. So this is definitely not something, not a start you're looking for. Like I think it's okay if you're not winning that first round, but at least get everybody over the finish line. I mean, this is one of the tracks where the ring checkpoints into that bug slide is pretty much the deciding factor. We're seeing all the players go through that section right here, right now. Let's look at these slides. Looking good for Keto, Birdie, and Babsify. Rest of the players are playing from behind, but this is definitely in favor of Ireland. Ireland playing in the blue. 1, 2, 4. Is that what we're going to hold on to? Hansi, gets into the wall, and a crash pretty much seals the deal on this round. That is an ace for Ireland.
Yeah, that was necessary out of Hansi, though. Even though his teammates just weren't there, he had to push, right? He had to go for it. And absolutely risked it for the biscuit, and I think that's good competitive nature there out of Hansi. That is exactly what you need to do in that situation. At this point, I don't know, just go for the reroute and finish as fast as you know. But at this point in time, it's gonna be tough because it's very, very clear that the Beerish here have the upper hand so far on this map, and probably why they did pick it. at the end of the day.
Bit of a low jump here from Hot Swat, so not able to reinforce his Irish teammates at the moment. And this is looking a lot more positive for the Czechs, with numbers 2, 3, and 5 in their favor. And in fact, Murray overtaking Babsify towards the ending. We see Birdie jumping and bouncing all the way around. And just like that, we went from a possible 2-3-5 victory. Instead, it's an ace for Czechia to kick off and finish off round number 3. That kind of just flipped on its head.
Yeah, that was Birdie just finding himself into the wall and trying to bring in too much speed into the last corner. And afterwards, just falls down to 5th, and then Babsify unable to keep up with Hansi there and got overtaken by the last Czech player. That is the round win for the Czechs. It is now 2-1 in favor of Bielan.
Bielan leading on the Czechs pick. We'll see if they're able to hold on to it. Again, it's really this jump that is make or break. We'll see how the lineups go. We do see one of the players hitting the ring. Not quite sure who that was. Unfortunately, I missed it. But it is definitely one of the Czech players. We have Birdie and Babsify surviving the onslaught that is the plastic bug slide. And Hansi actually picking up a lot of speed, overtaking Babsify. Is that going to be enough, though, for Czechia to win the round? I don't think so. With Hot Swat and number 4, that is 1-3-4. That is enough for Ireland to pick up another round win. 3-1 goes their way, and Czechia is starting to getting too far away, I would say, from Ireland to try and win this map.
Yeah, on top of that, that was a 39.6 there out of Birdie. That was a really solid time. Fast
Flying.
AF, I would say, out of Birdie. Well, flying, I hope he is, right? He is Birdie after all.
There you go.
Flying is just something that he does. So 38 times are possible on this map, but only the top 10 have 38s. It's not viable whatsoever in a match, I would say, as currently, again, another mistake out of the Czechs, to the point where Babsify absolutely messed up the bug slide, and he's still in 2nd place. Birdie making a mistake of his own, needing to respawn, but it's gonna be a win from Hot Swat to Babsify down to Murray. A 42-0 getting 3rd place. That is not something that you should be seeing, right? These guys just not got that bug slide down. It's very, very apparent that the Beerish have absolutely practiced on this map, and they are ready, which is probably why they brought it in, because they just got it down pat consistent.
Well, I mean, it's the question, because this is a Czech pick, right? And Czechia, they're down.
Is it?
It is a Czech pick. Yeah, no, Ireland picked into 20. So that's what makes this even more surprising. And I'm starting to wonder if this was a bit more of a maybe a bit of a gamble pick, right? Relying on the fact that this bug slide, they'll just nail it on the Czech side. We'll look at how it goes this time, because so far those ring checkpoints have been lethal for the Czech team. And at the moment, this time around, it does go well for them. Birdie, the only one in top 3. We got Murray in 3rd place, Keto in 1st. They're able to hold on to these spots. That should be good enough for a round win. Hot Swat tries to overtake, but unable to do so. So just one more finish is needed for Czechia to pick up a round win, and they do so indeed. And Hansi driving a 44-0, but that's a-okay, because that is 1 point, and they needed one more to keep in this this map pick of their own. But they're going to need 3 more round wins to actually solidify it.
They're going to need to come back here, and they're going to need to be perfect from here on out, right? This is their map pick, after all, as you said. I was so sure that this was the Beerish pick. That's just how strong they've been on this map.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
This would be definitely something I see them pick, as Hot Swat does make the mistake. Into the wall he goes, and so here come the Czechs now, and that is a terrific bug slide out of Hansi and Kiro. Very, very solid, and everyone on the Beerish side making a mistake. No one having a clean run here, so it's going to be a 1-2-4 in favor of the Czechs. I mean, it can be down to luck, it can be down to skill, whatever you want to think this map is more keen towards. I would say that it takes skill, though, to get bug slides the way Hansi and Hero just got one on that round, the way that Birdie and Hot Swat have been getting it in previous rounds, just how strong they are. So 4-3 now in favor of the Irish, they've lost 2 rounds in a row. And if they lose 2 more rounds in a row here, well, the Czechs would come back down 4-1 to win their own map pick.
It's definitely one of those things you're not keen on being in the situation of, but hey, if you're in that situation, I mean that's pretty much what you're hoping for. That's what you need. That's what you need to retain from it. We see 2 players getting out before the jump. One from the Irish side, one from the Czech side. We're left with Murray, Hansi, Birdie, and Hot Swat. And Birdie with an amazing lead right now, looks to secure the number 1 spot. Hot Swat tries to catch up to Murray and Hansi, and it's going to come down to numbers 5 and 6 if these are the placements that we are going to have, unless they both DNF'd. Did they both DNF? No. Babsify, right? They're in 5th place.
Wait.
Yeah, I don't think
he is in 5th.
He's going to make it. Yeah, there's plenty of time for him to finish, right? With 10 seconds on the clock to get over the finish line. If he were to crash, then things would have gone wrong, but instead, Babsify with a lead of 14. It's not a lead of 14 seconds. I believe Kiro DNF'd in that one.
Yeah, he did.
Not quite sure where he was in terms of time, but
he must have hit into the ring, didn't he?
Yeah.
Was he the one who hit into the ring, or was he the other player?
Both players drove into the into the wall, the inside wall before the jump. So they look to be around the same place, but perhaps the jump afterwards did go wrong for Kiro. But yeah, that is, we either way, whatever happened, and then for him it was enough to DNF.
Yeah, honestly, that's not something you want to see. Of course, if you don't need to DNF, you don't DNF, right? But
Exactly.
in a case, if you're stuck, right? If you're just door stuck in a position where in a position where you can't where you can't get anywhere, right? And you're 14 seconds behind. Good chance that Babsify is actually ahead of you, right? Makes sense that you would think you could DNF in that position, but listen, it ruined the race, right? It just ruined that map. Sadly, that DNF just ruined their chances at winning map number 1, their own map pick. And now they're going to need to do it on map number 20. This could be tough, because if they don't win this one, it's going to be 2-0. They'll need to reverse sweep, and that's going to be even tougher, in my opinion. World record on this map of 55.8, but only 2 players have 55s, the other one being a Canadian in Zodiark. So that is
Primal himself.
Yeah, exactly. That has been a really nice rivalry between Kebby and Zodiark on this map. I don't know if you watch that channel that uploads all the world records on these maps, but these 2 players fought for a long time for this one. They haven't done anything in the last 2 months on this map, but there's not much more you could do. I think even Zodiark has said that a 0.7 is practically not possible, like not feasible on this map because of how inconsistent it is. Anyway, Birdie is 18th on this map with a 56.6. That just shows you how far ahead those 2 are of everyone else. They are 0.8 ahead of Birdie, who's in 18th. So, yeah, Bire is in 18th, and you've got no one else from either team up until Hot Swat, who's in 49th with a 57.1. So I'm expecting a mid 57 to win this round. Right, to win most rounds, 57s, mid 57s are going to win most of them. Is if Bire comes out with an absolute stonking lap, right? Then we could see a 56, but he'd be the only one who I would assume could get one.
What would you say? Just
Oh, you're cutting out on my end. I can't hear you. Could you repeat that, perchance? Oh, I can't hear you. Your microphone died. That's rough. So how about I just take the first round here? You can tell me what you were thinking about afterwards. Just keep it in mind, keep it in your head as we go down into round number 1 of map number 2. And we've got Loudest, Kiro, and I do believe Murray fighting up against Hot Swat, Birdie, and Dank here on the side of the Beerish. Loudest making a mistake, and Kiro and Murray a little far behind. Bire right now having a big lead over everyone else, and that's a mistake out of the other Czechs. And so Here come Hot Swat up against Kiro and Dank. They're fighting for this lead as Bira has made a mistake of his own. And Murray, he's being caught up by Birdie. Birdie's overtaken him, so now it's a fight for first place. This is very important down in the lead. Dank's made a mistake once again, and so now Hot Swat needs to get in front of Kiro, but that's not happened so far. Hot Swat behind Kiro, and right now Kiro's gonna take the win. No, Hot Swat, what a snipe! Right at the end there, what an ending by him. And now it's all down to 5th place, and it's Loudest who gets 5th. Oh my goodness, that could have been a round win. Wait, it is a round win. Oh, it is a round win because Birdie got ahead of Murray. Oh, it's a 1-3-6. I did not see that. I thought that was a 1-4-6. Oh boy, it goes the way of the Beerish. They win the first round. And you're still not talking, I think. Yeah, you're still not talking, my friend. So I'm gonna keep going here. Sorry to say, your microphone just decided to commit seppuku as we continue on here. Hey, listen, you did the first match all by yourself. I can do one match by myself, you know. Birdie in the lead here. Loudest in second. In fact, he's now kissed the wall, so he's gonna go down into 5th place. It's now Dank versus Murray for the podium positions here. Dank in 2nd place, but Murray wants that position very much so. Hot Swat and Kiro fighting for 4th and 5th place. Those could be important positions if Dank makes a mistake here, but they're so far behind. Birdie in the lead, and oh, that's a mistake out of Murray. So it's going to be a 1-2 out of the Beerish once again, and that's a 2-0 lead for them, and it's all down to the consistency here. Birdie seems pretty consistent, and he wins it with a 59.5 here on his side. Very, very solid. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Oh, yeah, you are audible now.
There you go.
There you
Yeah,
are.
no, my screen just fully blacked out and everything. So I heard everything. I just couldn't see everything, and I don't know. Something probably went wrong, crossed wires and whatnot, if you will. Did some quick changes. So fortunately, I got to figure it out. Otherwise, I might have to restart the PC. But fortunately, no such thing was necessary. But from what I could hear from the excitement is that it is so far looking good for the Irish, and instead it is Czechia fighting for their lives right now. We do see Loudest flying out. I believe we saw Kiro earlier on, not able to hold on in that corner. But we're losing players like flies. Just Birdie and Murray on relatively good pace. Dank and Hot Swat quite a ways behind for the Irish, while at the same time for the Czech side, I mean, you look at the checkpoints, right? It's going to be a while. There you go. There's Kiro. We found him. We found one. Oh, Birdie actually hits the inside of the wall, and Murray snipes in the end.
It's all done.
Bit awkward. Bit awkward, but, you know, it is what it is.
a bit awkward, right? But that's a really tight ending. This map is probably one of the most inconsistent maps, just overall. With all the little jumps you got to do on the penalty sign, right? That's where all the time is lost, and that big long 180 corner going up in the air. It's really hard to not hit the wall there. And you see like half the players heading into it, and that's the reason why it's so tough to just be clean on this lap. And,
oh yeah.
Birdie, even he who has the best time here and seems the most consistent, even he has made 2 mistakes so far in these first 3 rounds. So let's see what happens in this round here. He's already made a mistake on this round as well. So see no consistency out of anyone so far. 5 players through from that corner though, and everything is fine. However, that is a big jump out of Loudest, who just flies out. Oh, Hot Swat as well with a mistake up at the front. I missed that one. And Dank, a mistake of his own. He's only a 2.5 seconds behind Kiro and Murray, but it's gonna be a 1-2 for the Czechs here. Look at that, all the mistakes culminating into a 57.4 winning the round. And that's what I expected, right? Mid 57s to win these rounds. I'm not surprised whatsoever, but I am surprised by how many players are out every single round.
It's something we saw in the match between Germany versus Portugal just now. It's definitely one of those tracks where players will have pace, right? But at the same time, it's been that middle section, navigating around the holes and getting into that dirt turn. That's really been the killer, because it's maintaining your momentum through that and carrying it out through those 2 jumps. Right. Where we saw, I believe it was Loudest not able to quite nail the landing on that one. But it's essential to keep up the pace right here. We'll see it once again. Who will be going through the holes? Ooh, Dank, unfortunately, going a bit too wibbly-wobbly there. Hits the wall, loses quite a lot of speed, will be behind. But we see Birdie, Murray, Kiro, and Hotswat doing a fine job and able to maintain that speed. Though Hotswat doesn't quite have the speed, will be able to make the jump. See, he kind of not made it, but he was able to recover from it. But it can easily go wrong if the speed from the previous section is not there to carry you through that part. Birdie right now in first, Murdy and Kiro in second and third place. If Loudest is able to hold on to fifth, that should be good enough for a win for Czechia, and they do so indeed. Dank comes in sixth place, so Ireland losing another round right there, and it's an interesting one. Irish pick, losing some rounds here, whereas it was looking a lot more dominating for the Irish on the map pick of Czechia.
Right.
Interesting.
Honestly, I see this being a solid map out of the Beerish, right? But it's really, really inconsistent, this map, and they're really, really hoping that Birdie just wins every round, right? That's pretty much what they're bang hoping on. Hotswat as well. I mean, he's got his own set of skills, and he's quite capable on this map as well, as he's shown. But it all comes down really to if Birdie crashes or not, I think, for the Beerish here. As we continue on the round here, it's Birdie and Hotswat 1 and 2 fighting with Murray, though. And that's a wall hit out of Birdie. That's a wall hit out of Dank. They're going to miss out on these jumps here. It's going to be really tough for them to land properly. And that's all three players here in the background. Just, oh, and that's...
Nice grind. Nice grind.
That's... Wait, that means this is a Beerish win here. If Hotswat keeps his lead in front of Kiro and Murray in these last two turns here, this is a round win because it's going to be a 1-4-5. And if he can keep it together, he does. And so it's a 2-3 for Murray and Kiro. But because of Loudest just falling off the map there, he is unable to help out his teammates who got a 2-3. They got the 9 points necessary out of 11 to win the round. But, oh man, Loudest just not there to bring in the last two.
Very, very unfortunate. But yeah, again, right, it's really that section that determines whether or not things go wrong. I mean, the only thing they could have hoped for Czechia was a crash at the end, right? Hitting the inside wall right before the finish line. But yeah. Hotswat was able to keep the calm, keep the momentum up, and just did what he needed to do to bring home those 6 points needed to win a round. Very curious to see how the players will do in sliding around these holes. Looks good so far, though. Dank and Lauda is not the fastest on either teams, right? But I did see a reset. I'm not sure who that was. Who was that reset out? Kind of missed that. We do see Kiro, Murray, and Loudest for Czechia on numbers 2, 3, and 4. And it's looking like we're missing Dank, we're missing Hotswat. I believe it was Hotswat. I'm not quite sure what happened to him. Perhaps the trajectory of whatever it wasn't quite in his favor. But whatever the case, this does mean that Czechia is able to hold on for another round in 20. This is definitely not a match that is just as easily over and done with. And perhaps this could turn into a 3-0, but it definitely would be a hard-fought one.
Yeah, it's going to be a really tough 3-0 in my opinion. But hey, listen. My prediction still stands, right? I'm not wrong just yet. No, I've never been wrong in my life, all right? Quantum Death Cat wrong when, right? So I'm 100% certain that this is still going to go the way of the Beerish here. Even with how strong the Czechs have been, it would take quite the comeback for them to get back into this one, just like on 13. And honestly, while I see them doing it, right, especially with Birdie crashing out there, it would take something monumental for them to... Okay, yeah, that's pretty monumental.
You want to keep jinxing them or what?
Yeah. You see, I did that on purpose, you know? This was a complete and utter, stomp on my end, right? I just had to curse everyone, right? Everyone on that side. I just had to talk about how good all three players had been, right? And how it's going to be impossible for them to lose this one. There you go. It's an ace, right? It's smart, right? It's big brain maneuvers on my end.
I mean, what if that was the idea? Then you definitely succeeded, and ace for Czechia to make it an even closer match. This is going to be a bit of a nail biter. Will Ireland be able to hold on to their map pick, or are Czechia going to able to counter their map pick after they've been countered themselves, leading it into a 1-1? I mean, definitely in a best of 5, right? You don't want to give away 2 maps. I mean, in a best of 7, you can get away with that. Best of 9, definitely. Best of 5, obviously. But having to just win 3 maps, the margin of error is just far, far smaller than it otherwise would be. And this would be extremely favorable for Czechia. They could feel like they could give away a map, if you will, right? Obviously, you don't want to, but it is definitely something to take into account. Along the holes, we did see some players come and go and fall down, but if we look at the top 3, it is looking like Hotspot has taken the lead. Ooh, Murray clips the wall just a little bit, but keeps on, has the momentum. Fortunately for him, none of the Irish players are even close to him, and in fact, Kiro, his teammate, on number 4, behind by about 2.5 seconds. Should be good enough for Czechia to actually counter the Irish pick. We are 1-1.
Tied at 1 now, and yeah, the Czechs coming back here. This is the extra low clutch factor that I know the Czechs have, right? This is even without Elcon on their side, right? With Elcon, this was easy. This is going to be an easy 3-2, right? I think in favor of either team. But at this point in time, I think Murray, Kiro, Laudis, and Hansi really have stepped up their game here without their, I want to say best player in Elcon, right? But I wouldn't necessarily say he's the best player on every single map for this team. On to 24, we go on to now. And, oh boy, this one's going to be a tough call, isn't it?
It's a tough one, right? This is the first of the randomly picked tracks. And at the same time, for me, I would say the hardest one to be consistent and fast on. So I'm very curious to see how that'll pan out. Obviously, this was 21, not 24. We'll get to 24 in just a little bit. I'd say while we get the warm-up, we do have some match results that have come in the 3-0s and 3-1s, right? That's usually how that goes. Starting off at the top, Slovakia versus Portugal. That is a lower bracket match. And we do have to say goodbye to Slovakia. Portugal wins that 1-3-0.
Yeah.
We've had England versus Denmark. That was my prediction, I believe. I believe that prediction right there, 3-1. I think I predicted that.
I think all 3 of my predictions came. All 4 of my predictions came through, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
So because we have Germany, Switzerland, 3-0. That one definitely was predicted that way.
That one I predicted. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I said 3-0 Portugal, right? I'm pretty sure.
I believe so. Yeah.
And then Netherlands versus France, 2-3-0. Let's go!
Let's go, Netherlands.
Let's
go. Lekker bezig, jongens.
France is out top 16. First time ever in tscc
that
as well.
As well is very notable, right? No French team to be expected in top 3, top 4, right? Top 16 is I can imagine a low point for the French community. Perhaps just not feeling the campaign that much, but at the same time, right, fielding 4 teams in the qualifiers of their own before getting into the play-in section, and the Swiss already losing one of their teams.
Clearly, they didn't.
Tough tournament for the French.
Clearly, they just didn't turn out enough teams, right? And next tscc, they're going to bring in 10 teams. Easy.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Just bring
we're
all
going to be
people.
the French team to bring it all. But the top 8 for the next tscc, it's all going to be French.
Imagine. Oh, it would be ridiculous.
It would be funny though.
True.
Right? It's not even going to be tscc anymore. It's going to be tsfc at that point.
But yeah, it's we're with that, this is what's gonna happen, right? This is playoffs for you. We're gonna say goodbye to teams pretty much every round from now on.
Yeah.
And with that, I believe there's just a few more matches we're waiting. Sweden, Italy, Russia, Germany too. Finland, India, and obviously the match that we are watching right now, which is Ireland versus Czech Republic. 1-1 at the moment. Kicking things off in 24, the first random track. And we'll see which of the 2 will be able to perform the best Czechia was able to keep Ireland away from getting into 2-0 territory. So none of the teams on match point, and this one could go all the way. I'm looking forward to it. What about you?
I can't wait as well, because this is the toughest map, right? This is the backbreaker, and whoever wins this map is going to be in the driver's seat for the rest of the match here, right? They're going to be up 2-1, and they're going to be in full control of the mental. They're going to be in full control of the map pool as well, because 17 and 25 doesn't really favor either team. So let's see who goes 24's way. This is Hot Swat's map. He is 14th overall on this map, and he's definitely got the speed, and let's see if he's got the consistency to go along with it. Birdie is in second alongside him. Hansi and Murray are trying to keep up, but Hansi a little too far behind with a mistake, and here comes the Neo slide, and that's a mistake out of everyone, but Murray just makes the mistake harder than everyone else. And so Hansi has a chance to come in second, but that is the Yep tree. And we see ourselves, Hot Swap, Birdie, and Dank, the ace. Probably the dankest ace out of Beerland off of the start here. That is how you want to start 24, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, did you see that finish from Hansi, though? Just turtling his way over it. I mean, you got to respect that. You got to respect that. But yeah, that definitely wasn't looking like an ace from the get-go, but that Neo slide right there, it's a doozy. But there are so many spots on this track where things can go wrong and can't go the way that you would like it. Right there, we just saw one of the Czech players fly out. Not quite sure which one it was right there. I believe it was Hansi. There you go. Hansi ways behind Dank, now making his way through the engine off section. I mean, I say engine off section, everybody jumps over it anyways, but this is looking quite favorable for Ireland right now. Again, it is the duo Hot Swat and Birdie taking the lead, taking charge of the match right here. Murray and Loudest at the moment just trying to fight from behind. Dank actually getting quite close to Loudest there as well, and Loudest jumps a bit too far to the right. He jumps the hole, but he jumps straight into the checkpoint with that as well, and you're not going to be able to stop the Irish from taking the round with just one player. Murray is trying, he's trying to stay in top three this time around. The slides are good, and they just need to jump over, but a 1-2 combination coming in from the Irish means they win round number 2 as well.
106.3, that's so close to his PB on top of that, of Birdie. So let's talk about the times, right? So the only players who've been able to get a 105 are Hot Swat and Birdie on this server. Hot Swat with a 105.6, Birdie with a 105.8. You've got right behind them, though, both Murray and Loudest, 106 zeros for both of them. So they are capable of fast times themselves, but it's going to come down to consistency. And right now, we don't see much consistency out of both of them, I would say, right? Hansi, Murray, and Loudest are just having a rough time of things. Birdie and Hot Swat have been able to get the 106, 107s quite consistently so far, but let's see if it continues that way, because Birdie and Hot Swat only have Loudest to fight up against, and so they could just save this, honestly. They could even allow Loudest to win this one, and it wouldn't be too much of an issue as long as Dank doesn't come in last. And right now, well, that could be an issue. By Birdie. But the players on the side of the Czechs are so far behind. Look at that. The top three are separated by the bottom three by over 5-6 seconds here. So let's see what happens as Hot Swat. Oh, he fails the Neo. And so Loudest actually is going to win this round.
But I don't think it's going to be enough.
Is it
I mean,
not
that's the
going to be
question,
enough?
right? It depends on the whoever is behind at the moment. Hot Swat.
Right. Dank gets second. Wow.
Yeah.
From last to second, and then Hot Swat gets third. Birdie gets fourth. Oh, no.
Oof.
That is terrible out of the Czechs. That is anti-consistency if I've ever seen it. 4 players finishing in the 10s, right? That's we expect one player maybe to finish in the 10s, but 4 of them?
It says a lot about the map as well, right? I definitely feel like 24 is the track that is the hardest of the map pack. There's just so many spots where things can go wrong and things just don't quite go your way, right? You've got that corner right there where you want to make sure you keep your speed and at the same time don't catch too much air. You want to slow down enough for this part so you don't fly out of the track. You've got the plastic section coming up where we saw Hansi taking the inside grind line, which is used. But I wouldn't do it during live rounds. You've got the jump over the hole. You've got the Neo. There's so many things that can go wrong. There's so many places where it can go wrong. This time around, definitely a lot more of a closer round. We see Hotswat in 6th place, the only player not able to keep up the pace. But Birdie and Dank in 1st and 4th place. That could be possible. Ooh, the jump from Dank into the sausage block. Not quite what he's hoping for. So 2, 3, 4, all check names. And we'll see if they're able to nail the Neo and get over the hill. That would be beneficial for the Czech winning their first round on number 24. Just need to get in. There you go. 2, 3, 4. They take a round finally. But it's been a tough road towards that.
I'm surprised I'm not seeing any GRs in chat because that is the first round where no one made a mistake, right? Dank is the only player who made a mistake. Yeah, 108 is your slowest time, right? That would have gotten you 2nd place in the round beforehand, right? So that was definitely a really good round, in my opinion. That is definitely, everyone got above other time. That is, I think that's first in this tournament, a round where everyone got author time on 24. That is absolutely stupid, as Loudest actually goes over the engine off block, and so he's going to be really, really slow. Mistakes out of Murray and Hansi. They're not too far behind, but it's still an ace so far building up for the Beerish, as Dank is the last place in on the podium. Murray in 4th and Hansi in 5th. They're not too far behind each other, but that is much too much of an overcorrection out of Hansi. He's going to be way too far behind. Murray now, the only player for the Czechs who can really do anything, and he's looking up the road at 3/4 of a second ahead of him are Hotswat and Birdie, but Hotswat made a mistake, and so now he's going to be able to catch up into the Neo. He's going to be ahead, and now he's hoping for Birdie to make himself a tree, maybe a nest into a tree, but Birdie lands straight in the center, and that's a mistake out of Murray. Too much to the right. 1-2 out of the Beerish. And so a 4th place on top of that for Dank. It's going to be too hard.
Too hard, but look at those times, though. Like, that was a close top 3, right? All 106s. It was just that ending, right? But at the same time, if you're missing the rest of your team, you're doing a great job, right? You're making sure you're getting the points, which is great for future rounds, but not in that round in particular. And right now, though, 4-1 favor of Ireland. They're in position to pick up 24. I mean, this would be a quick 24 win as well, right?
Yeah. But it also wouldn't be surprising with how Hotswat and Birdie are just absolutely dominating, right? They've been consistent on this map. It seems, again, just playing matchmaking has really built up consistency here for some of these players, right? Especially the Swiss side, most notably, right, on this map. They were, it very much so showed that they were matchmaking players and that their PBs meant nothing. But on this map, the PBs of these players, it was definitely not what could represent what they could do in rounds, as both Hotswat and Birdie get the long drift perfectly fine. And, well, that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. 1-2 in favor of I don't think so. No Yep-Tree. And a 106.3 out of Hotswat. Very competitive time. Very competitive time. Another round where a 108 finishes in last. That is how we end this one. Very competitive map, but just going the way of the Beerish here. Now they're in full control of the map. We're on to 17.
Moving on to 17. It's honestly, I expected 24 to take a bit longer, just due to how again, how many spots, how many mistakes are possible and could happen. We're not going to go to 25 just yet. Don't worry about it. We'll have 24 perhaps. Depends. The only way we're going to see 25 is if Czechia wins 17. But yeah, 17 is a bit more of a, Trackmania Turbo. You've got a lot of jumps going on that one as well. And I think one of the main things that's going to decide it is the engine off section. You got first some pretty high jumps and then into the engine off section. And it's, I would say, one of the key factors in that is whichever players will be able to maintain the most speed out of that engine off turn.
Right. So at this point in time, when it comes to PBs on this map, it's not looking too good for either team. I want to say it's more leaning toward, it's a Czech map for some reason, but none the ways that you would think, because all the Czech players that have PBs on this map that are really high up are not on this Czech team, right? Woohoo is 18th, right? He's not playing. Yurka used to play for this Czech team. He's not playing this time around. Danik B not playing for this Czech team, right? You got to go all the way down to Murray, who is in 39th place, but he's 4th place when it comes to the Czechs. But he's still ahead of Hotswat and Birdie. So that is going to be very, very important. Hotswat is currently in 46th place with a 47.9, and only the top 60 players have a 47 time on this map. So it's going to be very, very tough, and I think low 48s is what we're going to see on this map. No one else in this server is even in top 100, so really, this should be all Murray and Hotswat. A 1v1 fight at the start here at the front, and we could, I don't know who we're going to see fight alongside them, because the others are just nowhere near that pace that the front two have.
We also have some results coming in the meantime. We do see that Germany 2, we already had Germany 1 winning their match 3-0, and Germany 2 does the exact same this time against Russia. With that, Russia is eliminated from the tournament after having lost their match against India 3-1. They now lose 3-0. So with that, we lose another team, and another team as well has been eliminated. The final match in the lower bracket has been concluded. Sweden versus Italy, and that was a 3-1 victory for Sweden. So goodbye to Italy. Sweden lives on to fight another day, and they're waiting for the loser between the match Finland versus India. That one is still going on along with the match you're watching right now, which is Ireland versus Czechia.
All right. Well, now with 10 seconds left, on to 17 here. This is a very tough map, right? We're going to see low 48s, I would think, but this map is all about not getting airtime, right? And I don't know how... I remember watching Birdie playing this on stream. This is not a map he's particularly fond of overall, but let's see how the Beerish do on this map here. It's going to be relatively tough, I think, for everyone. And it's going to be a fight between Murray and Hotswat at the front.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Hotswat very, very close to the Czech pack. But, you know, it's quite packed at the front, if you will, either way. We do see a crash coming in right there. I believe that was Loudest who hit one of the flagpoles right there. And as mentioned, Kiro versus Hotswat. You see the 1v1. We see Kiro going inside while Hotswat goes to the outer, right? Different lines, but at the same time, it is Hotswat who has taken control of the situation. And as we get to the final section, we've got this flying into the finish line. Will any positions change? Not at all. 1 Hotswat, 2 Kiro, 3 Murray, 4 Birdie. And let's see who gets the number 5. The number 5 goes to Loudest. And that is exactly what Czechia needs to win the round. That number 5 spot was all that mattered in that one. What a great round to kick things off.
Very, very solid round out of everyone. Dank and Loudest both making mistakes, and even that was a pretty close fight at the end there between both of them, separated by less than a second. So very, very nice to see so far out of these players. Let's see if we can keep it up, though, because this is going to be tough for Murray to line properly. It's not going to get enough speed, I think, to do this jump properly. Yeah, no, he had to play that safe. He didn't have the speed. Any air timers? Any air timers? No air timers here. It's so all 5 players surviving it for the time being. Dank, all he has to do is save back here. I think this is the right play for him. Not making a mistake and not flying off the map is really the best play, and hoping for a mistake.
Usually, yeah.
Out of the others here, as he's catching up to some of the Czech players here, as Loudest starting to slow down just a little bit, but Dank doesn't have the speed. It is going to be a 1... Is that a 3? Yeah, it's a 1-3-5. Yeah, it's a little bit pixelated on my end. My bad.
Yeah, I know.
I can't exactly read that well at the moment. I'm blind.
Blind.
I'm blind.
That's I mean, imagine, you know, casting and observing things while being. I mean, it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. Is what I'll say. But yeah, definitely a round that just, you know, didn't go right from the moment we went into these first jumps. And this time around, once again, for the Czechia side, just not quite the way. This time, Kiro having some issues at the start, so he's going to have to play it safe as well. So again, a 2v3 in favor of Ireland, and we'll see whether or not they're able to convert that into a win. They have the upper hand right now in terms of numbers, but will they have that in terms of speed as well? We have Loudis and Murray right now, first and third place, though we do see Birdie getting in between, in fact, gets first place. If he's able to hold on to that, that would be a round win for Ireland. It's going to come down to the number 1 spot. Let's see the flying. It is Birdie. Birdie picks up the number 1, secures the win with that as well. And another round for Ireland. They're steaming forward 2-1 at the moment. So still could go either way.
Yeah, that was so direct by Birdie too, because a little bit wide went the Czech player, and because of that, he lost by 7 milliseconds on that round. The Czechs lost that round by 7 milliseconds. That is so rough. That's a tough pill to swallow, and that's just going to allow the Burish to get so far ahead now in this race. And at this point in time, right, this is a must-win for the Czechs. They cannot lose another map, and so at this point, losing any round is detrimental to the point where you could potentially lose this just by losing by 7 milliseconds. At this point, Loudis in the lead, but it's a 2-3-4 in favor of the Burish here. Loudis needs to keep it together, but so does Dank in the background here. Murray a little too far behind to catch up to Dank for the moment, and so it's going to be a 2-3-4 in favor of the Burish. They're going to take this one ahead of Loudis, Murray, oh man, and Kiro. It's 3-1. This is so tough now for the Czechs.
It's definitely tough. I'd say right now it's really been that start, right? You've got this first section all the way up to that giant jump, and if you just don't get the drifts just right and all the speed that you need, things are just going to go from bad to worse. They're just going to go from bad to worse. This time around, it is the one of the Irish players having the issues. We see Hotspot and Birdie, only 2 remaining at the front. Dank just having to play from behind, and it is Czechia who is able to possibly get around here. We saw Loudis, unfortunately, slowing down in that engine off turn. Definitely one of the places where you don't want that to happen, because there's no way for you to accelerate, and usually what you want to do. So a close fight right now at the front. Top 4, Hotspot in the lead. Kiro and Murray playing from behind, trying to keep away Birdie, but Birdie shoots into third place, and with that inside line as well, secures it. 1, 3, and 6. That's another round win for Ireland, and they're starting to run away with it.
Yeah, it's 4-1 now. This is another 4-1 situation out for the Czechs here. They came back one time, and they lost another time. So they lost map 1 this at this exact scoreline. They won map 2 once the Burish got to this scoreline as well. So listen, it is very much so possible that they come back, but it's going to be so tough, especially with how good the Burish have been, though. Birdie is not in the lead at the current moment. It is Hotspot in the lead. It's not by much. In fact, Kiro now goes for the overtake. He's going to full risk it for the biscuit. He needs to do so. And so Birdie tried to push a little bit too hard, risk too hard, gain too little. And so it is a 1-2 now for the Czechs, and this is how you come back, right? A 1-2.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is what you need to do, because if you cannot win this round, then you won't win the map, and you'll go down to the loser's bracket. You need to win every single round from here on out, and so Loudis and Kiro make it happen so far, but it needs to continue happening.
Now look at the time between them as well, right? Just 1/100th of a second separating the 2 teammates. I mean, that's what you want. That's what you need. Like, if it's gonna be close, at least let it be close between you and your teammate. Because at the end of the day, it's not about if you come in first or not. It's about getting as many points as you can, despite how good or bad you are on a track. And consistency definitely is key when it comes to 17. This first start, once again, we see all the players go through. Will we see any crashes happening? Doesn't look like it. Everybody is through with flying colors, flying their way into the engine off section. Let's see if they're able to keep their footing. We see a reset come in from one of the players, I believe. Who was that? Who did we lose? Did we lose Murray? No, we're looking at Murray. Who are we losing? We're losing Hotspot. Hotspot had to reset out again, reading his heart. And Loudis, Kiro, Murray fighting to stay in the winner's bracket, trying to secure a spot in the semifinals as well. And we'll see if they're able to solidify that with one more step towards it. Dank trying to get close to Kiro, but Kiro holds on to that second place, so another round goes to Czechia. We're not done quite yet.
Not just yet, ladies and gentlemen. We are not just done. It is 4-3 now. 2 more round wins necessary. This set at this point is where they lost map number 1. How fitting would it be that they lose it in this situation? But I wouldn't want them to lose just like that, just for the sake of it, you know. Obviously they have comeback opportunity here, but they kept it too little, too late.
Well.
Yeah, they have done so, which is the great part about Czech here, right? But it's their slow starts. It's really what's killed them in this match so far. All these 4-1s, they've started every map 4-1. Wait, now that I just thought about it, funny little nose buck. But think about it. They started every single map down 4-1, right? Yep. Every single map has been down 4-1 for them. And I think that's really been their biggest issue. Just their slow starts to these maps has been what's killed them so far. And I mean, yeah, they can come back here, but it's so tough for them to do so. One mistake and it's all over. Hotswat will win the round. Hero gets second. Murray gets third. Loudest gets fourth. We're tied at 4 here.
Again.
And it's still alive here. The dream is still alive for the Czechs, but I don't know, man. They have the momentum now.
They have the momentum. This is exactly how they won map number 2. And that's why they have that 1 point, right? They found themselves in this exact situation, in this exact position, managed to pull it all the way back to 4-4. Leaving it riding on 1 round. This is the one that'll decide, will we get a map number 5 and go to 25? Or is this us seeing Czechia drop down to the losers bracket? Let's find out. Great jumps coming in, except for Dank. This is looking good for Czechia. Already 1 player down on Ireland. Let's see if they're able to keep the consistency, because Hotswat and Birdie right there, amazing speed out of the engine off section, but Murray gets in between as well. Looking like the exit speed is in his favor when it comes to that looping. But this is going to be a close one. Hero needs to somehow keep Birdie away from getting into 3rd place, but Birdie actually gets in there. It's going to come down to the wire. Birdie did pick up the 3rd place, so they just need 1 more finisher in Dank, and if Dank crosses the finish line, he does so indeed, then it is, in fact, an Irish victory. It came down to the wire. It came down to just a couple thousandths of a second, but it is a victory for Ireland. They win the match 3-1. Czechia drops down to the losers bracket. Ireland moves on to face off against England.
Oh my goodness, what a match that was. And 2 rounds on this map separated by less than 10 milliseconds, right? And that's what's cost Czechia here, right? They lost, I think, the 2nd round on this map just purely by 7 milliseconds. They lose this one by 8, right? If the positions are switched there in that final corner, that's it. That's the round win. That's the map win. They go on to 25. Instead, it's... oh man, this is absolutely detrimental for the Czechs here. They lose by practically nothing, by inches, by pixels, if you want to say
pretty
that.
much,
yeah. And that's all she wrote for the Czechs here. They're down to the lower bracket, as you said. We're already ready to see who's going to be between Ireland and England. In fact, this match was the last one to finish. This was the longest match to take place. So let's talk about the other matches before we go back offline for a little bit of a break. Ireland, Czech Republic. We just saw that one, 3-1. Very, very long match here. The Czechs kept going down. They just could not be consistent at the start. Slow starts are what cost the Czechs there. They're down to the lower bracket. England versus Denmark. Denmark, the previous winners of tscc. They're down to the lower bracket as well. 3-1 victory for England. Germany versus Switzerland. I called this one. I said it would be a 3-0. Germany are the favorites to win this one. They are the favorites to win the tscc for the first time twice in a row. Not in a row, but be the first team to win twice.
Exactly.
The tscc. And so that would be their right. And honestly, they are on a marching band run at the current moment. They'll face up against Finland, who went up against India 3-2. What a close match that was. It had no business being that close. And India nearly won because they lost 2 maps. They lost 1 map 5-4, and then they won a map 5-4. So that was an incredible match to watch. I honestly, I would have wanted to watch that one.
I think Vekasus is covering that, yeah.
Yeah, luckily Vekasus is covering that over there, right? If you guys want to watch other matches that we're not doing, there are plenty of streams out there for you guys to watch. where you
Exactly.
guys could watch the other matches. So that's going to leave us with Ireland versus England and Germany versus Finland in the winner bracket semifinals. And then down here in the lower bracket quarterfinals, we've got ourselves a doozy. Denmark versus Germany 2, the previous winners versus Germany 2. Very, very tough match, but I think the toughest match is going to be Czech Republic versus Portugal. We're going to see ourselves Czech Republic facing off against them. And how'd that happen? Because Germany won against Russia just a little bit earlier ago, and so Russia's eliminated, and then Portugal eliminated the Slovaks as well, both 3-0s in their matches. No one else got a 3-0. The Netherlands beat France 2-3-0, and they're going to face off against the Swiss. That's going to be a really toughie for your team there. And then the Swedish beat out the Italians 3-1. They're going to face off against India. Let's talk about our winners here, because there's going to be 6 matchups. Who do you think wins? I want to know.
Yeah, I mean, we've said goodbye to four teams, right? So the matches, the amount of matches that we'll have concurrent will go down and down as we go, right? We're semifinals, winners bracket, lower bracket. We still have 4 matches, but that'll also get into quarters, if you will, though it's a bit different, obviously, for those lower bracket ones. But I mean, Ireland, England, and Germany, Finland in the upper brackets. I think these are both going to be some amazing matches. I can imagine Ireland versus England. We already saw England take down Scotland. And I guess this is becoming a bit of a competition between the different, like the 2 islands, right? With England defending the UK and Ireland, being like, well, we separated like 100 years ago. So what you got?
Oh, man.
What you got?
Who do you got? I got Ireland. I got Beerland. I gotta go with my my original pick. I gotta go with my original pick, man. Beerland will beat England, in my opinion, and they'll meet Germany in the winner bracket final.
That's your
Finland,
prediction, yeah?
Yeah, that's
Finland,
my prediction.
Yeah? All right.
What about you?
I mean, I think this. I'd be hard pressed to say that Germany would not move to winners brackets finals. It's like Finland, obviously great lineup, but Germany has been looking just unstoppable today. All right, trio Portugal, trio Switzerland, and before that as well, just winning, just win. They've dropped 1 map so far. That's it, 1 map. Right. Throughout the entire tournament. Like, who am I to say, oh, yeah, they're just going to do it? When Finland, on the other hand, has definitely had some tougher matches, or at least in terms of map score, if you will. Definitely just, I'm hoping Finland will be able to take a map, maybe 2, but I think in the end of the day, we'll see Germany in the winners bracket finals. And I'm going to say we're going to see, I'm just going to be counteractive on you. I'm going to say we're going to see England in the winners bracket final, just because I think it'll be a close one. We saw Ireland just doing a fantastic job there as well, but they can bleed, right? They are not invincible. They are definitely not an unstoppable team in the same way that I would call Germany has been showing so far, but still an amazing team. And England at the same time as well has been doing amazing as well, right? Only losing a map against Denmark, winning against Italy. Their Swiss wasn't as clean, but still clean enough, right? Not as clean as Germany, if you will. But Germany, I mean, at that point, it's just cheating.
So at this point, England have only lost 2 maps overall over all of TSCC. Germany have only lost 1. So those are really the 2 teams that are gonna be the toughest to beat, right? Those are the teams to beat. But that's why I am saying, right? We've got some upsets already so far during this TSCC. I'm gonna guess that this Irish versus English matchup is going to be one of those as well. I'm saying that this upset happens up there in the winner bracket. Down here in the losers bracket, though, I'm going to guess another upset, but I'm not going to tell you which one just yet. Denmark versus Germany 2. I think this one's going to be a lot closer than most people think.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree. I mean, Germany, too, had a bit of a rocky run throughout the Swiss rounds, right? They lost against Finland right here in the playoffs. But I mean, I would still say Denmark will be able to eke it out, but definitely not, they don't seem to be at the same level as they were during the previous season, right? Perhaps the map pool for this campaign is just not quite there as it is. But yeah, I'd still say Denmark would be able to eke it out. Though I wouldn't count out Germany too in this one. Definitely not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, in fact, and that would be, I think, a very interesting situation if we're able to see both Germanys get into top 3. I think that would be
crazy.
Obviously it would be a German dream, right? I don't know if it'll be a finals, but I wouldn't be,
Germany versus Germany. Let's go. The Germans would be very
who do I
happy.
cheer for? I don't understand.
All right, down next. I'm gonna say Denmark win that one. I'd love to see a Germany versus Germany final, but at this point, the memes outweigh. Don't outweigh. I think the skill that Denmark has on their side. It's not the same Danish team that won tscc last time around in spring, but not spring in winter. But
yes.
yeah. Let's see it. Czech Republic, Portugal. Oh boy, this is probably the toughest match in my opinion. To call.
Though I'd still say Czech Republic. Like they just look more consistent today. That's it.
I don't see it. I'm sorry. The way they started off against the Irish here, they couldn't get anything going. Again, down 4-1 on all 4 maps to start it off.
I'll give you that.
Not good enough.
But they've got that clutch. They have that comeback potential. And Portugal just didn't quite have that today, right? They just didn't quite have that today. They clearly have the pace as well, but it's just been... I'd say in terms of... It's really, in my mind, consistency in getting round wins. And I see Czech Republic getting more round wins than I will say Portugal.
This, right? Portugal won 5 rounds up against Germany, right? It was 5-2, 5-2, 5-1 loss for them. But the Swiss here, right? You would consider the Swiss a pretty good team, right? They lost 5-1, 5-1, 5-0, right? They only won 2 rounds up against the Germans. I think the Portuguese are much faster than we give them credit for, especially with Mali on their side. I would say that the Portuguese definitely have this in the bag, in my opinion. Even with less consistency than the Czechs here, I think they're just overall faster. And if the Czechs continue on the route that they had up against the Irish here, no matter how much clutch factor you have, there's just no way that you're going to be able to go down 4-1 on every single map again and win up against Portugal, I think. Something needs to change.
I'm still going to count you on Czech. Yeah, I mean, but let's agree to disagree on this one. I think that's because I do hear you. I do agree with you. I just don't think today is their day. That's really just it. That's
I'm going to say Portugal. I'm going to say Portugal. I see a Denmark-Portugal match in the loser bracket round 3. Next match, India-Sweden. This is my upset alert. India wins.
Yeah, I'm going to cheer for India. I don't know if it would be India or Sweden. I think realistically, Sweden is the one to take it, but I'm going to cheer for India. I'm just going to say India take it. That's the prediction. I don't think it's, I think percentage-wise, I'd say this is like 25 to 75, maybe 30 to 70, right? Because India has shown potential. They've shown that they can take maps. They've shown that they can win rounds. And I'm just going to say India. I'm going to say India pulls through.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, right, you have Brocco on the side of the Swedes, right, which is absolutely crucial. 12th place overall in the campaign. But honestly, you can't take away what Neil has been doing for the Indian side. I think he's absolutely helped them reach their potential. And even though he's down in 46, right, he's done a lot of matchmaking, and his PBs are his actual pace on maps. So I would hazard a guess to say that he's really going to be the X factor, and he's definitely clutch, in my opinion. Neil being one of the better Team 300 players overall, doing really well in TAO. All in all, is said and done. I think this is an Indian win for, again, just an upset factor. And that's why I'm going to say India. So the next match going to start up real soon, but Switzerland versus the Netherlands is the last match that we can talk about here. How about I leave you this one to talk about first?
All right, I'm not even gonna. Like, I don't even care who's playing on Switzerland. All right, I'm just saying Netherlands done. I'm not going to even analyze this. You know why? Because I'm Dutch. It's just going to be extremely biased. Extremely biased. Another trio in the back. Let's go, Netherlands. I believe in Paardenvechten. He can do it. We see Jan van Spijk just flying through, getting all the points. This is going to be easy. Easy, easy. Done.
Right, I do agree. I do agree. It's going to be a match that the Netherlands win, right? These Dutch players have been playing really, really, really good. Wardrof, Jiski, Oxer, Thomas Jean forever. I don't think I have a chance up against Stuf, Jussi, Paardenvenker, Piedith, and Jan van Spijk. I just don't think they have what it takes here up against the Dutch. The Dutch have been so good overall this tournament. I think they make it to top 8.
Oh yeah, I agree. It's looking like they were doing just in terms of sourcing, right, and just the way the team has been set up, right. We had 2 Dutch teams start off, and because there are plenty of players to pick and choose from to set up these teams, I think they fielded an amazing lineup. But I think for now we have a little bit of time remaining before the next match happens, and we'll take a small little break to get everything sorted out and make sure we get a nice little match for you guys to check out on the main stream. So don't go anywhere. It won't be too long of a break, but when we come back, we'll be back with the next match in the TSCC Spring 2022 edition. See you then.